Hello all. What a difference. Yesterday was rainy, well not rainy, but drizzly, wet, cold, windy and foggy here in San Francisco. That's typical of July, of June and July's weather, even into August. But April, not too often, or May, usually it's clear and just sort of rainy or cloudy or something, but not this year. This year we're whiplashing from one place to another. I'm going to try going up this way and do a video. California, once again, is going to do what they did last year. Because we're in such a bad drought situation, they're trucking millions of young salmon at hatcheries in the state, the Central Valley, to the Pacific Ocean by truck. So these fish don't even get to go down a river. So they're not going to know where to go when they come back to spawn. That's a real problem. They use each river particular chemistry to find out where they're supposed to go to spawn. What's the consequences of eating salmon? There's a cancer risk from eating farmed salmon, which gets all kinds of chemicals in them because of the all the stuff they do to the fish. The rivers in the state are at historic lows, so there isn't enough water to get the fish from the ocean up to the spawning grounds. Up between Washington and Oregon here in the US, there's a river called the Columbia River, which is quite a large river. It's one of the main rivers of the world. Unfortunately, a lot of salmon run on that river and steelhead, and because of so many dams and so much human activity, the environment has been diminished in the river. On the Columbia Gorge itself and the river, there are 18 dams on the Columbia and 60 dams on the tributaries to the watershed of the Columbia. That pretty much puts an end to any fish going up and spawning anywhere. Though they do have some fish ladders, but the runs are quickly diminishing down, down, down. Here in California, most of the Sierra melt-off ends up in the Sacramento River, another major river here in California. Here in California we have the Sacramento River, which is another main river. Unfortunately, it's severely polluted because of all the runoff that runs in the river. It gets almost all the Central Valley water runs into the Sacramento. This river is polluted with methyl mercury is the worst pollution, microplastic, pesticides, oil from cars and trucks on the roadways running into the river, and raw sewage. And believe it or not, they are taking water out of the delta and using it as drinking water for some people in the Sacramento Valley area around Vallejo and stuff. You guys are drinking some of the worst water in the nation. But there's also the problem with humans thinking that fish aren't as high quality of animal as everything else is, when a fish is just as important as humans or any other animal. Do you think that we could survive without any fish in the ocean or rivers at all? We may get that chance sooner than you think. So let's go to a whole different topic that we usually go to on this channel. We update the CO2 count, the daily CO2 count from this year to last year. Let's look at last year, April 30th, 2020. April 30, 2021, 420.54 parts per million. Today's reading is about the same. It's up in the 420s as well. Okay, on a whole different subject, let's talk about high tech and what's going on with that, because there's been a lot of news about this. The company Boston Dynamics, who makes all these robots for the military and now for the police, New York City has decided to oust Spot, the Boston Dynamics robot dog that they debuted during the protests. And people didn't like that at all. So New York is getting rid of Spot, the robotic dog. Well, that's a good idea, but do you remember back in the Biden era when he was so much into droning different countries and how we said how drones are such a threat? Well, it turned out that we were right. They were a threat. They ended up being used to bomb countries and carry out assassinations and all this stuff over in the Middle East. Well, here we go again with another crazy thing, this Boston Dynamic robots. I've got two links down below. One is their website and the other one is one particular robot which looks sort of like a snake and can open doors. Do we really want this kind of thing unleashed on us? And how long before just regular people like you and I start building these things and then end up trying to go to war with our neighbor or something? This is really serious. To me, it seems like it's a no-brainer to get rid of these military weapons that look like dogs and things and humans.
To be fair.
There we go. Very crowded out today, so I think we'll end the video there. What do you guys think of these Boston Dynamic robots? Do you think it's something to be worried about? Just like the drones that people said wouldn't bother anybody and they end up being used in the military and used for killing and assassinations? How long before these door-opening robots come creeping around at night, opening people's doors? Just can't imagine. Alright, well, on that, let me know what you think. I appreciate all your ups, your downs, your new subscribers, and definitely the comments. And I appreciate all the comments from the last videos as well. And until next time.